Happy Monday. It's game day. Oilers in Montreal to take on the Habs. Got a loaded show. Lots to get to over the weekend. It was just a non-stop sports gager. We got lots to break down today. Welcome inside the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. It's EST afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. You want to listen to us? Go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in radio or the iHeartRadio app if you'd like to watch us. EST YouTube channel. Nasty chat. Of course, you want to send us some messages or text us 780-218-9999. Fun show today. 120. Brian Wilde from Global Montreal. I used to have him back in the Locked On Oiler days when I used to do the podcast. He's great. So we'll get a good idea of what the Montreal Canadiens will offer the Edmonton Oilers today. And at 2:20, Derek Van Diest, of course, from NHL.com. He'll give us the Oilers side. There's lots to talk about when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. It was a fun weekend in Sports Gager. And of course, in the second hour, our EST flyaway to LA, which is presented by the 780. Gager, I know you just did the oil stream with Tommy Gazzola. You guys brought the heat. So we're going to start. Let's go in order from let's work backwards here. So we're going to start with the Grey Cup. I wouldn't say a phenomenal game, a fun game, lots of turnovers, great crowd. But first off, what did you make of it? You're the one guy at this station that said don't sleep on the Argos, and you were right.
It just gave me pause. Like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were rolling. You know, everything was looking good, and I just know when you see the other team that you're going to play and one of their big dogs goes down, there's automatically you go, oh my gosh, our path just got a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's hard not to. Right? Like
yeah.
It's so, and I just thought just the way that they were going, and now everyone against, Arbuckle going in and he hadn't played, and it just seemed like a team, not unlike the Oilers, that that are going to hear about how great they are for a whole week.
Yeah.
And all the festivities, all the betting line, like it just didn't, and I just thought, you know what? That's a lot of bulletin board stuff you can put on. It's not like they were putting a rookie in, you know?
No.
And he's 30 years old. He's seen a lot. And all he has to do is play good for one game. This isn't a 7-game series,
yeah, exactly.
Right? And he was good, man. He was really, really good. And I enjoyed the game. I thought it was competitive. And then a few mistakes that just led to turnovers. And not only that, but the way that they were able to capitalize on them too.
Yeah.
Like I think that's huge. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I hate to say that because I know we've got a lot of people. Matt Hyman, I apologize. But I was kind of hoping for some sort of last minute heroics
Chaos.
too, because usually that's what happens in CFL games. But look, when you look at it, the better team won.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Collaros, 4 interception. Now, he hasn't thrown a TD pass in the last 3 Grey Cups. That is...
Especially with those receivers. Man.
That's outstanding, man.
Yeah.
So no dynasty for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They'll be remembered similar to the Buffalo Bills for losing 3 straight. I mean, it's great you've gone to 5 straight, but you got to win them.
You got to win. You got to have a winning record in them, right? I mean, because... even if you looked at the Patriots, and if they went and only won a couple of them, you'd say it's not they are a dynasty, but part of that is because they won the majority of those things.
Yeah, Toronto's defense was outstanding. Nick Arbuckle he was good. He had some bad picks, but he was good throughout the game. He was named the Grey Cup MVP.
Perfect.
Brissett gets outstanding Canadian in the CFL. It was kind of cool seeing his brother from the NBA there celebrating with him. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good game. The presentation was good. The stadium looked awesome. Trey Ford was there cheering on his brother, and he had an Elks jacket on. Wink, wink.
That was weird.
That's a good sign in my eyes, Gager. So he was in the stands with his wife and his little baby cheering on Uncle Tyrell, and unfortunately they couldn't get it done. What did you make of here? Let's go to the fun part. What did you make of the halftime show?
It was the first thing, I'm sitting there having dinner with my wife, and the first thing I thought, I goes, geez, I know a lot of Jonas Brothers songs.
So that's what I said to the girlfriend. I was like, I know more songs than I thought I did.
Yeah,
and I was like grooving to them too.
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, wow, that's not bad at all. The fans seem into it. They were all those catchy songs. I literally didn't know they sang those songs.
Yeah.
Like I'd never go, I got to listen to some Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're talented. I didn't mind at all. I thought it was really good. I really thought that the stage and everything looked really good. Like BC Place looked amazing. When they had that backdrop of Vancouver, those were gorgeous at night, man. It was probably a lot of fun in Vancouver this week.
Oh yeah. Let us know what you thought of the halftime show on the Nasty Chat or text us at 780-218-9999. I will say this though. The guy in the middle, like he's probably the lead singer. With the mustache. Like the songs are good. I thought the guy with the short hair was awesome.
Yeah.
The guy on the guitar was awesome. I just found the guy in the middle lacked energy, man. Like I wanted him to be like jumping up and more like get involved with the crowd and say, "What's up, BC?" But I just found him very like Evan Bouchard like.
Okay. Well, there's always a dud when you have 3 kids.
But they were good. They were good.
They were good.
Yeah.
That was good.
I thought it was fine. And
the short hair guy, he's the one from Jumanji, right? Is he the?
I have no idea.
I think he's in this. He's in one of the Jumanjis.
And they were singing live, which I like.
Yes.
Yeah,
you have to do that.
Yeah. Well, because sometimes.
Well, sometimes they sing over. Were they singing over their own track for a bit there?
For a bit, yeah.
I think they were.
But you can tell most of it was not lip.
Yeah. The first place I look is their neck, like their throat. If their mics could be off, I guess. But
yeah, let's hammer the thumbs up. Let's get to 100 to start the week. It's a busy week for the Edmonton Oilers. 4 games tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, and Saturday. Some good opponents as well. We're only at 17 thumbs up. By the end of this segment, let's be at least 30. Come on, guys. And on Saturday at BP's, it's a pretty good crowd.
I was gonna make it, and then I got too cozy.
Yeah. No, it was good. I went there for a bit to watch the first. Met Tommy's uncles and aunts, and his brother was there, and it was just nice to see and mingled with Rip City and Jason and Andrea, and there are so many. VR was there. The Combine crew.
I like that BP's.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
It's a really good spot.
Good prizes too. They were giving away that
clean
night.
bathrooms.
Not like this one here.
No, we need a mop in there.
I bought some supplies. I brought some Febreze, and I brought some more wipes and some people, because we're all adults here. We should.
You got stuff. You're putting perfume on a turd. You gotta get in there with some scrub brushes, buddy.
No, I know, but come on, man. Like,
I did the one time.
I'll just add it to the invoice.
Yeah, I was thinking of bringing a few things because it's
Yeah, I just hit up Dollarama, and it's funny because the girlfriend was like, "You buying stuff for work?" I'm like, "I have to, man." Like,
it's gross in there.
It's not pretty. 41-24 was the final score in the Grey Cup. Argos defeating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Nick Arbuckle named the Grey Cup MVP. A lot of great plays in that one. Defensively, man, 4 picks for the Argos defense. Just outstanding. It was great seeing. I even liked after, like, it was very NFL like the presentation, the way they were interviewing players, going in the room. I loved it.
It was, I distinctly remember in years past where I'd be watching the Grey Cup, and then of course there'd be an NFL game going on too, and I'd usually kind of flip to that one.
Yeah.
And the thing that always stuck in my mind was, look at how this is presented and how it was great, man. That was the first time I go, you know what? There's not a lot of difference in what they had. Like the analysts, they were all good. I liked the lead up to it all. The finality of the season too is always, it's always a kind of a little bit of, maybe it's because I was way more involved in the CFL this year than in years past. Like I couldn't name probably 5 players at the beginning, but because I was, probably listening to Dusty more and getting more involved, and obviously this show and stuff. I watched way more CFL than I had in years this year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Where I'm not saying I'm an NFL guy, but watching the NFL, there's a lot of stinkers, and I found that it was a lot more entertaining watching CFL games.
Oh,
it's way quicker paced. I was always it's got to have 4 downs, but the pace is so much faster in the CFL.
Great. Yeah,
that's why.
Shorter clock to get into your next play. I do want to give a shout out to 2 former Elks, great guys. Jake Serezna.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get traded. Heartbroken when he did, but look at him now holding up that great cup. Congratulations to his nickname with the Elks was Protein. He loved his steaks, and it's just a big boy. And one guy that probably CFL people know, but he was the defensive line coach for years. One of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life, Gager Demetrius Maxey, also went to Toronto this year as their D-line coach. So congratulations to those 2 guys. They're absolute beauties, and good on them. So I hope they're celebrating and celebrating hard, because they're probably heading back to Toronto tonight, this afternoon, and they'll probably party tonight as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a week-long party.
Oh, gosh. Where do you think the Blue Bombers go from here? Do they try to run this thing back again?
I think somewhat, yes. I think they'll keep the Willie Jeffersons, but I think they'll move on from Nick Taylor maybe and guys like that, right? So I think they'll keep most of the band together. I mean, they're right there, Gage. It's weird that they can't finish in the big game.
Because they don't look anything like their regular season self in that game.
No.
They were good. I won't say that. They weren't bad, but they just seem to they definitely have another gear that they weren't able to put the clutch in and get to.
So Joel says, yes, Nick is in Jumanji. He says Nick always had the most energy, the really short hitter. Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was good. He was
really good.
Yeah.
Bruce from William Huff says, hey guys, Bruce here, just getting back from Grey Cup. Halftime show was great. Actually got to meet the Jonas brothers accidentally yesterday because I was packing my pallet of paint up radio side through the door. Yeah, they look like good dudes. They did an interview with Kate.
Yeah.
They look really down there. I'll be honest, this is very ignorant. I didn't know if they're Canadian or American, because I don't and they're American dudes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so usually you get a Canadian artist, right? For them to come, that was great.
They're probably the Grey Cup. No, because a lot of Americans don't really know.
No, yeah. I can't remember the last time an American did the Grey Cup. It's usually Canadian artist, isn't it?
For the most part, yeah. But all in all, an entertaining game. I wouldn't say it's going to go down as one of the greatest ever. No. A lot of great performances, 4 picks for the Argos defense. Calaros with the bloody finger. It looks like it must have been bugging him, and because as soon as he went back in with the glove, he threw a pick. He threw 3 after that.
That was a good pass, though. It was going to land right in there.
The guy made a good read on it.
He made a great read. They said it was that underthrown? I don't think it was underthrown.
No, I don't think.
A little bit, maybe?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. A little too high, maybe. Yeah.
He had to reach it, yeah. But if he didn't get that, that's 6.
Yeah. And then Lucky Whitehead fumbles on the kickoff. And then the Winnipeg turning point of the game blocks a punt and then gets called for interference. Yeah. So it goes back to Toronto, which was just unreal. Abutsky says, Dusty and new color guy, Mike Benavides, of course, former coach, did a fantastic job on the Grey Cup radio call. Yeah, our guy there doing the toughing it through. There's rumors he might return this week.
What's the over-under on Dusty returning this week?
Who knows? But hopefully he's back. We missed the big guy. Hopefully he had a good time down there at the Grey Cup. It looked awesome. I knew a lot of the Elks people that went down there, and it just looked like a hell of a time, man. So hopefully the Elks can be in the game in the next 2 or 3 years, because EST is going to be following them, Gager.
Yeah, and next year is in Winnipeg, correct?
Yes, Winnipeg, then Calgary.
Okay.
So, short flights. I'll probably drive because I hate flying.
They don't have an airport. We got to drive.
We'll save the Oilers because Gager just talked an hour about it, but we will get to a lot of Oilers because some people said it was a little unfair with Evan Bouchard on the weekend. I kind of lost it on the post-game show, but I was really frustrated with his play. And a whole bunch of people sending me his analytics, and yes, okay, they're fine, great. But he's still costing your team.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He is. So, sure, he's great analytics guy, but the eye test and what he's doing on the actual ice that we're watching, it's costing his team. But we'll get into all that. We got to get to the fight on Friday, Gager. Holy smoke. Because we had so much fun the whole week leading up to it, talking about it, and this is going to be real. And is it Big Maple or Big Uke? It's a real fight. It was not a real fight.
No.
That was you know when you have like almost that embarrassment for someone else?
Yeah.
That's what I felt watching that.
We're talking about the Tyson fight, Zach, not UFC.
I heard, Friday, yeah.
No, as soon as he walked out, it was funny because I was with my buddy and I took my daughter and we watched it. She wanted to watch it too. And we both looked at each other when he walked out and my daughter goes, knee brace? That ain't good. It just was like, why is he wearing a knee brace? I mean, to me, Mike Tyson really showed his ass in that one. It wasn't. It's funny how just a few little clips online of him working out made me think that not that it was old Mike, but there was still something there, and there was nothing. We were all talking on the text line during it, and it was like, aside from the buffering, but his foot speed it looked like he left his ankle weights on.
It was, after the first round, I was worried about his legs. Like, his legs looked like they were going to crack at any time. And then, for me, Jake Paul could have finished him, and he held back. That was so obvious.
That fight made me like Jake Paul a little bit because he was carrying Mike the last few rounds, right? He realized that I don't want to embarrass this guy, which I found I thought was a good thing to do.
But that goes to show you that this was like, hey, go in there, don't embarrass Mike, go the 8 rounds, you guys both get paid, and we made a killing.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
And we all got suckered in, and that's fine. I had fun.
I don't mind it. I didn't pay if that was a pay-per-view fight, I wouldn't have purchased it. I wouldn't. There's no way I would have purchased that fight.
No.
And the fact that it was actually on Netflix, although there was the whole world watched this fight, which is amazing.
Netflix was shutting down.
Yeah, like these guys, they broke the internet with this fight, which is absolutely ridiculous.
On my TV, it kept buffering. I went on my laptop and connected it to my TV, and I didn't have any issues.
No, at my buddy's place, we went down to his theater, and he was running it through his theater system. And it was buffering like crazy. And then we went back upstairs to his other TV, but he was running it through his smart TV. And I believe the Wi-Fi cards in smart TVs just aren't as powerful as, say, a phone or a laptop, right? So actually, we ended up just going through. I think we went through I grabbed my daughter's phone. He had an Apple TV. We mirrored it to there, and it was fine.
Big Maple chimes in. On paper, 2 professional sanctioned fighters agreed to fight. Just because it wasn't fireworks doesn't mean it wasn't. Well, it was a fight, sure, but it was one of the most terrible fights in the history of boxing. Because honestly, guys, and listen, all the respect to Mike Tyson. He's a smart guy. He made his money. But that was... If it was a little bit embarrassing, a little bit sad, I almost wanted to punch myself out for sitting there watching the whole thing. It was, but listen, and I'm okay with it too because I was pumped for it. I thought it was going to be different.
Yeah.
And the whole week leading up to it, all the chirping between the two guys, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but that fight was compared to the girl fight before. Holy smoke.
Jesus.
That's boxing right there.
The skill level of those two is what, first of all, like they were, and they beat the crap out of each other. Oh my God.
Smokes. Eddie, we'll continue what did you guys think of the Tyson Paul fight? Was it what you expected? Were you disappointed? And then what did you think of the halftime show? The Jonas Brothers. Me and Gage both liked it.
Thumbs up, baby.
We just said the middle guy I said that needed a little more energy for my liking, but the short hair guy made up for it. He was awesome.
Great.
Good tunes and hell of a game. Coming up next, though, we will head to Montreal and preview the Canadiens as they host the Edmonton Oilers tonight with Brian Wilde from Global Montreal. In the second hour, the EST flyaway to LA. And Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. That's all coming up next here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, but here is Zachticum with a sports update.
After taking a heavy blow to the head and exiting Saturday's game, Darnell Nurse is expected to miss 5 to 10 days for the Edmonton Oilers. And on a 6-game slate, the Oilers are in action against the Habs for a first of a back-to-back. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show an hour before puck drop to get you set for the game with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Elsewhere, it's the Avalanche and Flyers, the Caps with puck drop against the Hockey Club, and the Bruins facing the Blue Jackets. And in the NFL, the Giants will bench Daniel Jones this week in favor of Tommy DeVito when New York meets Tampa Bay. For Monday Night Football action, the Texans kick off against the Cowboys with Lieutenant Eric hanging out at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the game. That one goes at 6:15. Also on tap, the NBA has 8 games with the Raptors hitting the court with the Pacers. On the other side of the break, Brian Wilde from Global Montreal joins EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of Injury Law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
It's 1:25 Monday afternoon. Welcome back to EST Afternoons, Edmonton Sports Talk. It's Joaquin Gage. It's Hernan Salas. It's Zach, the producer. People from Calgary asking us if it's snowing like crazy here. No, it's actually sunny.
It's really nice.
I guess it hasn't stopped snowing in Calgary. Wish them all the best. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. NHL lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Just ahead of Brian Wilde here from Global Montreal. I got to get to this. Is pretty funny from Big Dave at the inbox. The real fight on Friday was actually being able to stream it. He ain't joking there. Well, we're going to switch gears and talk some Montreal Canadiens here as they host the Edmonton Oilers this evening. It's 5:30. It's the Amazon game again, Gager.
I did talk to Tommy about this. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Just to see the last time the game was in Edmonton here, they did a lot of history about the Edmonton Oilers. There's no team with more hockey history, I don't think, than the Montreal Canadiens. Probably a good chance to learn something about the team that maybe you didn't know before. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
36 thumbs up. Let's get those numbers up to 50 as we now bring in Brian Wilde from Global Montreal. Brian, it's been a long time since we've chatted. I think it was during COVID on the Locked On Oilers podcast I would have you on, and it was always a great conversation. How you doing?
I'm very well. Was it that long ago? Wow.
Yes, very, very long ago. But
When we were trapped in our houses. Oh, man. What a time. It's hard to believe that was this universe.
Yes,
And
I know.
our era, right?
It is on.
Oh, man. In Montreal, we had a curfew. Did you ever get a curfew?
No.
For my wife
Yeah,
or
we
the
weren't
city?
allowed after 8 p.m. We were locked in our houses after 8 p.m. unless we had a dog. So the SPCA was happy.
Joaquin Gage says he had a curfew from his wife. That's about it. Yeah.
Still do.
Joaquin,
Yes.
I interviewed you.
No.
Yeah.
When was
Yeah.
this?
Well, obviously a very long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I hope I
it was,
said something
it was
intelligent.
just a scrum. You wouldn't have recognized it in terms of one-on-one or anything.
Oh, okay.
Because Brian, you got ties to Edmonton, right?
Yeah. I left in 95 towards here, but then I came back too because I also did Ottawa Senators games and I did Montreal Canadiens games as well. So
Yeah, because I see you on Twitter a few times, and you're dialed into the Oilers as well, and you get a little frustrated with the goaltending at times as well. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't, right?
Oh, you should have seen our post-game show on Saturday. It was a riot.
Yeah.
It's going to be
well, expectations are so high. I mean, that's what happens when you got all the talent you got there that people want it to happen. But, like Brian Burke always says, there's only one parade. Even when you get within one game of the parade, there's still only one parade.
Yeah, no, for sure, Brian. Now let's get to the Canadiens. They sit at 6-10-12 right now after 18 games. They won their last game, though, against Columbus. What have you made of the Canadian season so far?
Well, the Columbus team, it was 3-4, and they beat Pittsburgh pretty handily the night before. And I think the Blue Jackets just weren't prepared for that one on Saturday night, and that's why the score was so lopsided. They lost all their gas in the third period. But it's been a pretty tough go for the Canadiens. The expectations were fairly high, but everything went wrong. Like they acquired Patrick Laine for him to, never see the ice in the regular season before getting a pretty serious injury to his MCL, thankfully not his ACL. Kirby Dach had major reconstruction surgery on his knee the year before. After 12 months off, he still isn't the same player. Yeah. Sometimes that injury takes 24 to 36 before the player has some confidence that he can go full out and get his speed back. So Dach is a shell of himself. So the second line, which had such high expectations after being the worst second line in the entire league last year, is still not a very good second line. And now it's Jake Evans as a second line center. And when you're slotting in Jake Evans on a good hockey team, he's a fourth line center. Mm-hmm. So that's where it's pretty much fallen apart. The first line's doing their thing still, but after that, there's not much scoring, and the defense is super young. And anybody that knows hockey knows that if you run out a bunch of 20 to 22-year-olds out there, you're probably going to have some tough nights when they're 6 years away from their best.
Brian, Lane Hutson, is a very interesting player to watch. He's already had some highlight kind of movement with the puck, the way he can dance across the blue line. Although it's his first season, we all know that. What do you think? Is this kind of the guy that can become? I hate comparing guys to other players, but there's a few defensemen in the league that really command the offense from the back end. Do you think he can become one of those D-men eventually?
Well, I'm going to just go statistically here and how much puck possession time he has. And I haven't looked in about 10 days, but at one point he was second in the league behind only Cale Makar in possession time during a game, which, that is a very strong indicator that the puck is on his stick. And he's doing some pretty good things to be a part of a hockey game. A lot. Now, I'm not comparing him to Cale Makar by any means. Don't get me wrong here, but I'm comparing it in terms of how much the puck is on his stick. And when the puck's on your stick a lot, you're impacting the game a lot. Now, he's pretty small, as you know. So defensively, he's always going to battle physically and probably fail. But what he's really good at is making sure he doesn't actually get in any physical battles defensively. He rolls off really nicely when they're trying to take away his time and space. He's really good at finding that outlet pass quickly. And if two guys or three guys aren't coming at him, one guy usually misses, and he's able to either shoulder fake him or do something with that clever nature he has when he has it on his stick to mitigate the difficulties he could have defensively. And then on the offensive end of the spectrum, it almost seems as if the guys aren't ready for what he's doing. There are some times where he's dancing around and doing great things, and they're all watching him instead of moving into better positions to take the passes and score. So he's really been impressive. I think he's second in rookie scoring, behind only Logan Stankoven, which is really something. And he's getting 25, 26 minutes a game. It's not like they're babying this kid. Like, they're playing him. Martin St. Louis has a ton of confidence in him, and the fans here are clamoring for him to take over Mike Matheson's spot as the PP1, the only defender on that unit, which, through hierarchy is going to take some time before that actually does organically happen. But for now, he's been maybe the only bright spot this season. Like, it's been pretty dark around here, but he's been a bright spot.
Brian Wilde from Global Montreal joining us here on EST Afternoons, talking all things Canadiens. They sit, last right now, Brian. I know expectations going into the season, every team wants to fight for a playoff spot, whether realistic or not. They'll say that. But is there any rumblings or any talk about Coach Martin St. Louis there maybe being in a little bit of trouble, or is that just you guys kind of expect them to miss the playoffs again and let him grow into that role?
Yeah, I think what's happened there is with the media and some fans, when the expectations did get kind of high, before everything that went wrong did go wrong that possibly could, there were hopes of not being in a playoff spot. But I mean, even management themselves said they wanted to be in the mix, and everybody took that to mean, okay, they're hoping that in February, they're around still playing meaningful games.
Yeah.
Now it's pretty apparent that the meaningful games are like pretty close to done already. Mid-December, I think we can pretty much announce and start concentrating on what the top 5 of the draft looks like and top 10 of the draft looks like. But, like from the long-term perspective, you got to be smart about this. I mean, this is year 3 in the rebuild. The owner, Jeff Molson, declared January 18, 2022, that they were going to actually do a real rebuild. And it started with the trading of Tyler Toffoli away for a first-round draft choice. So later that trading deadline in late February, early March. So, I mean, we're only in year 3 with this, and there's never been a year 3 rebuild. I mean, the best anybody can note, and that's what I kind of studied, was the Chicago Blackhawks did a 5-year one and managed to draft Kane, Keith, Seabrook, Taves, and had a pretty good one. The New York Rangers are right now doing a 5-year rebuild that went really well, which was helped by Trouba, Fox, and Panarin saying they only wanted to play in New York City. Generally speaking, rebuilds take longer than 5 years. The Buffalo Sabres are in year 13. The Detroit Red Wings are in year 7. The Ottawa Senators are in year 6, all without playoff spots. So for those people that feel like Martin St. Louis should have a short leash, come on. Let's look at the facts here. Let's look at history. I mean, even in Edmonton, you guys, I think, called it the decade of darkness. I mean, it takes a while. So, there's got to be some patience here. So, if the odd media member is saying that Martin St. Louis' leash should be short here, frankly, they shouldn't be working in the media.
The goalies in Montreal, I mean, you look at past years, Montreal has always been famous for some of the best goalies to ever play the game. Montembeault is an interesting character. You're even hearing, and I don't know if this is because of the not so consistent play of other Canadian goaltenders, but there's talk about him possibly making this Four Nations team. Is that still a possibility?
Well, I mean, he's not really playing great right now, but I mean, Canada's thin in that. Like, who would it be, right? You've got a guy who's in the running too. Jordan Binnington's in the running, but I mean, Canada is a little like Carey Price retirement has left a giant hole in Canadian goaltending. So Why don't I ask you that? Like, I'm going to pretend like I shouldn't be talking here. And like, you tell me, like, when you watch Montembeault, you watch your guy, Aiden Hill, Jordan Bennington. Who do you like for us in February? And I'll say us here because I'm Canadian.
What I do is I look at the defensemen that they're capable of icing. And for the goalies that you mentioned are all capable of playing at a high level for a short period of time. And
right.
I mean, I think Stuart Skinner should be in the conversation just because of one of the guys that has played in a pressure packed competition most recently. You mentioned Jordan Bennington too. I think also a pressure packed, and still
Hill pressure packed.
Yeah, so Hill's done it too. So those are kind of my three. But sometimes you want to, and I know Montembeault is only 28, but I don't know. The games that I watched at the beginning of the year just gave me a little bit of pause, going, Those are some pretty big performances in games. I don't think you're going to need performances like that against, because it's only going to be one or two chances. But you just want to make sure that that one of these guys that is able to essentially take a goal away from the other team. And right now, I think it's the guy in Vegas is my number one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably for many people, especially the way some of these guys are performing this year so far. But it is early. Brian, I don't know if you do predictions or not, but what do you see happening down there in Montreal after the Oilers' disappointing overtime loss and Montreal coming off a win?
Well, I mean, it's going to be like the Canadiens are playing a little bit better right now. Their goal expected share for most of the season prior to the last four games was like in the 30s. I mean, they were playing some very, very bad hockey, and it's up to about 50 now. So they're getting half a share of the ice against weaker teams, but it should be back down to about 40 tonight. I'm going to take the Oilers doing pretty well to put the puck in the net tonight. I can see the Oilers putting 5 in, and there's no way the Canadiens can score 5. They get 3 on a good day. So I'll go 5-2. I'll go 5-2 Oilers tonight.
Brian, have you watched many Oilers games this year?
No. Yeah, it's kind of.
No, that's a serious question.
You know what you're suffering from? I'm going to give you an outside perspective of what the Oilers are suffering from.
Yes.
Pardon me?
No, I said perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's pretty obvious to me, actually. It's like this is a team that it's went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes.
How the hell do you get motivated in October and November now?
That, you know what, Brian? We talked about that in
It's
October.
hard,
Yeah.
man.
It's
a long season, and you know what's in front of you, and you've played 22 playoff games and the intensity of that, and you're supposed to bring that intensity in November and think that any of that stuff is important right now. I mean, it is, because you got to get to the dance.
Yeah.
But it's not really that important, and the letdown of getting that far and then being one game shy. Man, I know they're professionals, and everybody listening is going to like, Brian, they're making $10 million a night, right? Like, you can't be, I understand that, but they're also human beings too. And I think as human beings, I think they're kind of going, oh boy, it's a long way to April, isn't it?
Yeah, and
they'll ramp up. They'll be the same guys they are. They're full of talent. There's no more talented team in hockey. I fully expect that they're going to do what they did last year and get one game farther.
Love the positivity, Brian, on the
I
Edmonton
do. I think they're
Oilers.
going to win the Cup this year. I see no reason to think they cannot.
No, and a lot of the players, and even Chris Knobloch has mentioned that, like, it kind of took them a while to get going, but they've all admitted now that it's time. It's go time. Like, it's, we're in mid-November. You need to start stringing some wins together. And the problem with the Oilers is just, if you look at that Toronto game, Brian, it's just the team's not even working for their goals. They're just giving them up, and the timely save from Stuart Skinner. He's taking a lot of heat in this city this season because you rarely get that timely save. So there is a bit of frustration here with the team, as well as the special teams that have been struggling mightily.
Yeah, and one other stat I will point out here is, like, I think the Oilers, and I don't know the exact number, but it's something like 28th or 29th in the league like your 5-on-5 goals expected is like 29th. In other words, you're running into super hot goalies and some bad luck around the net. Like you're supposed to have something like 28 more goals already than you do. You know, like I don't know why, because I haven't seen the hockey enough. But when you see that, that's one of those stats that evens out. And it's one of those stats that really evens out when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on you. You know what I mean? Like if the Canadiens are minus 28 in their goals expected, then you sit there and go, wow, there's not a lot of talent there. You know what I mean? But when it's the best players in hockey that are somehow getting stymied like that, there's no way that continues. No way.
Brian, great stuff as always. Should be a fun one down in Montreal tonight, 5:30 here local time. It's a Amazon Prime game. We look forward to it. Should be a fun one. Always is in Montreal. And enjoy the game, Brian. I'm sure we'll have you on in the near future.
Yeah, let's not wait 4 years again.
Yeah, for sure, Brian. That's Brian Wilde from Global Montreal. Great look at, and he's honest. I mean, this is a team that doesn't score a lot. He says they're really young. And hey, man, we went through the decade of darkness. We know what it is to ice a very young team.
It's very funny to hear outside looks of teams as we look at the Montreal Canadiens,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
So we look at this lineup and go, oh, this could cause the Oilers trouble, and we have Brian going, they'll be lucky to score two. You know, it's like and so it's I like if for the thousands of people that are watching and the millions that are listening, just like take a breath with this Oilers team because Brian makes some really good points. I mean, I myself, I after that run, I looked at the next season and I was questioning how I would get motivated to play. Yeah. Obviously, I'm 51 years old and stuff, so I don't feel like I want to play a regular 82-game season. But yeah, there had to have been a little bit of, gosh, we got to get back to that place. I just don't. I think we should be able to win games without us all going at 110%.
I gave him October for that. I'm over it now. And I get what Brian's saying. It probably is. And the players admitted it themselves and the coach as well. So I get it. But now it's go time. It's November 18th. You need to start banking wins here. And you know what we're going to do up next? We're going to talk a lot of Oilers. We're going to talk about what we saw on Saturday, Gager. Two players that are fascinating to me that are in different.
Are they fascinating?
They're in two different roles right now. Infuriating too. Well, one of them is. And just to look ahead to tonight's game and what to expect. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons. Keep hammering that thumbs up. We're at 42. We need to get to 100 today, please. It'll be good juju for the Edmonton Oilers to pick up their first win on this road trip. Tomorrow they're back in action right away in the nation's capital as they take on the Senators. But Oilers talk coming up next. You got questions for Gager or myself, send them to the inbox at 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat. It's EST Afternoons, Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. But first up, here's Zach with a sports update.
Darnell Nurse is expected to be out 5 to 10 days after exiting Saturday night's game when taking a hit to the head. And the Oilers are back at it tonight with the Canadiens having Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 4:30 right here on EST. Other games see the Ducks taking on the Stars, Detroit and San Jose to face the Sharks, and the Flyers battling the Avalanche. Football has Tommy DeVito being named the starter for the Giants as they send Daniel Jones to the bench. And on tap, it's the Cowboys and Canadiens duking it out, and the Texans duking it out with Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Barn Lounge for a 6:15 start. Basketball has the Raptors meeting the Pacers for 8 games in the NBA. This sports update was brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation, where you have the chance to win big with the Split the Pot lottery. The pot grows with every ticket sold, with the jackpot getting bigger and bigger every day. Visit splitthepot.ca to buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Just after the break, Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage dive into the Oilers action tonight. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brewhouse is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at the Canadian...
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk. Park Mazda, your dealer for life insurance.
1:48 Monday afternoon game day. Oilers, Canadiens, 5:30 Amazon game. So if you don't have Amazon, you better get it. Big shout out to Brian Wilde. That was a great conversation. He used to do a lot of. I think he's from Edmonton and covered the Oilers for a lot of years before moving out east. But if you follow him on Twitter, I think it's BWilde MTL. He chimes in a lot on the Oilers games, which is kind of funny. So he's got some takes as well. But like he said, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Coming up in hour 2, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. We'll talk all things Oilers. We'll ask him about the fight, too, what he thought of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson and his Cowboys in action tonight as they take on the Houston Texans in Monday Night Football. If you want to hang out with LTE, head down to the Century Casino. It's Loaded Burger Night on special. So
Loaded Burgers.
Century Casino on Fort Road. LTE will be down there. Go say hi and hang out with our wonderful colleague and friend, Gager.
Yo.
Let's get to it. I want to say this about Saturday. I thought the Oilers, for the most part, played a pretty good game.
It was a great game.
Yeah. Like, they were right there. One part that bugged me is, listen, a vicious hit by Reeves, and by all accounts, he went to the dressing room to apologize after he hit the showers and all that to Darnell Nurse. A very dirty hit. He gets 5 games. I just didn't like that there was, like, no beat or urgency after that on the power play. Like, they get because listen, if you wanna make them pay, you score on that power play at least once, right? It's
the 5 minute.
Yeah, like there was just no juice, and that was kind of a downer. And then they they have to go 5-on-3, and they kill, and they get a little bit of momentum back. But it's this team. It just they can't seem to grab certain moments and kind of come together and say, let's go do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say, but I think you're out to lunch. I thought both PKs of both teams were good. So yeah, I realize we're accustomed to the Oilers power play being dominant. But look, if anything that this season's taught us is teams are well prepared to play against this power play. Even when it looks successful and they have extended zone time. For the most part, the PK units that go up against the Edmonton Oilers power play is in really good position.
Yeah.
I felt that the Oilers PK look. I think they went over.
They were 4 for
4, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just got to look on the defensive side of things and go, well, they're playing quite well, and that's what I saw in that game. Sometimes, man. Gosh, you get those 5-minute majors, and you're just licking your chops. You think it's steak night, and you're just gonna feast for 5 minutes, and there's an automatic tendency to just go, okay, we got 5 minutes, let's take our time. No, play that thing like there's